cookies. But this knowledge had been lost in my house and in a lot of others. I don't think we had flour. We had Bisquick. Those from-scratch cookies were the best thing I had ever tasted. Thank you, Mrs. Merriman. There was no Food Network to overcome the lack of food knowledge in my house. On TV, I watched cartoons after school, or when we got cable, old movies. I certainly would have watched Food Network, though I can't tell you why I was starved for such knowledge. A yearning for something authentic and true in an era when the noisy ideals of a previous generation were hitting a wall? A world where the government proposed ketchup as a vegetable for school lunches? I don't know why I was hungry, but I was. We all were, it turned out. When I went to UC Berkeley and was surrounded by the flourishing food culture of the late 1980s, within a year I was perfecting my guacamole and baking my own bread. By 1996, around 31,000 people over the age of 18 were watching Food Network, the term used by those who work there. Outsiders call it the Food Network, and about a third of those viewers were from households with children. In New Hyde Park, New York, a shy teenager named Todd Mitgang was watching. His mother never used any green but iceberg lettuce, and every meat was prepared the same way. A shake of salt, a shake of garlic powder, and under the broiler. The best restaurant he had ever been to was a Benihana. He ordered Rocky's Choice. The stir-fry was a revolution to him. It combined steak and chicken. Over the next few years, he watched Food Network after school and was spellbound as Sarah Moulton demonstrated knife skills on Cooking Live. Mario Batali cooked with fresh garlic, and Emerald threw something spicy on meat and exclaimed, "Bam!" Fast forward to 2012, when Todd opened Crave Fish Bar, a seafood restaurant in Manhattan. A reviewer wrote, "Mitgang slices scallops thin and douses them in enough curry oil to heat up Manitoba. He adds sliced heirloom cherry tomatoes to black bass sashimi for the right amount of zing. Then he ups the ante with king salmon that's cut as thick as corn-fed ribeye. Roll over, Benihana. Tell McDonald's the news." Somehow, Food Network captured an audience that did not know that it wanted 24 hours a day of food television. Then, having roped in the early adopters, the network figured out how to create an even bigger audience. Food Network is not single-handedly responsible for the food revolution, but it took what was happening in some food-forward pockets of the world, including, fortuitously, those within a 3-mile radius of its Manhattan headquarters, and delivered it to everybody. It made converts, and yes, sometimes in its greed and ambition, it perverted the message along the way. Then it kept pulling out a divining rod to learn what fresh pockets had formed, and honed the message to fit the new reality it had helped create. For this book, I interviewed nearly everyone you will meet here, and many you won't. Stars, executives, makeup artists, drivers, agents, producers, web developers, prep cooks, and many others. I read original documents, strategic plans, research reports, old marketing pamphlets, press releases, and news articles. Among the on-screen talent I interviewed were Curtis Akins, Sonny Anderson, Mario Batali, Mark Beckloff, Sissy Biggers, Bill Boggs, Anthony Bourdain, Anne Burrell, Tom Colicchio, Scott Conant, Kat Cora, Jane Curtin, Melissa Darabian, Mark Dacascos, Paula Dean, Dan Dye, Nora Ephron, Susan Feniger, Guy Fieri, Bobby Flay, Tyler Florence, Mark Forgione, Nadia Josiah, Duff Goldman, Nina Griscom, Donna Hanover, Chuck Hughes, Emerald Lagasse, Robin Leach, Lisa Lillian, Lisa Loeb, Jeff Morrow, Mary Sue Milliken, Masaharu Morimoto, Sarah Moulton, Mark Murphy, Pat and Gina Neely, Jamie Oliver, Wolfgang Puck, Rachel Ray, Claire Robinson, David Rosengarten, Mark Summers, Michael Simon, Ming Tsai, Justin Warner, Jeffrey Zakarian, and Andrew Zimmern. Almost every star I asked agreed to be interviewed at length, except for Robert Irvine, Sandra Lee, and Giada De Laurentiis, although I did speak to each briefly at times and spent time in their presences observing and